Imagine a world where powerful kings ruled with armies, where wars destroyed cities, and where most people believed that only the strongest deserved to lead. Then came a man who carried no sword, commanded no army, and ruled no kingdom. His weapon was a question. What is justice? What is truth? What makes a good leader? His name was Plato, and his ideas would shape philosophy, politics, science, and education for more than 2,000 years. But before he became one of history's greatest thinkers, he was a young man searching for answers in a world full of chaos. Around 428 BCE, in the city of Athens, a child was born into an aristocratic family. He was named Aristocles, but history would remember him by his nickname, Plato. Athens was the center of Greek culture. It was a city of artists, warriors, politicians, and philosophers. Citizens debated ideas in public squares, but the city was also surrounded by conflict. The Great War between Athens and Sparta had weakened the Greek world. Political struggles divided the city, and many people questioned whether democracy was truly wise. Young Plato grew up surrounded by power and politics. His family had connections with Athenian leaders, and he was expected to have a career in government. But Plato was fascinated by something greater than power. He wanted to understand the world itself. Everything changed when Plato met a strange old philosopher named Socrates. Socrates did not teach in schools. He walked through Athens, asking people questions. He challenged generals, politicians, and wealthy citizens. "You think you know the truth," he would say, "but have you truly examined your beliefs?" Plato became one of his most devoted students. From Socrates, Plato learned that the search for wisdom was more important than wealth or fame. But Athens eventually turned against Socrates. The city accused him of corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. In 399 BCE, Socrates was sentenced to death. Plato watched his teacher drink poison and die. The execution changed him forever. He lost faith in ordinary politics and began searching for a better way to organize society. After Socrates' death, Plato traveled across the ancient world. He visited places such as Egypt and southern Italy, studying mathematics, religion, and different systems of government. He wanted to answer one question: how can humanity create a just society? Plato believed that people often mistake appearances for reality. He compared humanity to prisoners inside a dark cave. The prisoners see only shadows on the wall and believe those shadows are the real world. But one prisoner escapes. Outside the cave, he discovers sunlight, nature, and the truth. This became known as Plato's allegory of the cave. For Plato, education was the journey from ignorance to understanding. Around 387 BCE, Plato founded one of the most famous schools in history, the Academy of Athens. It was not just a place to memorize information. Students studied philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, politics, science. Plato believed that a great society needed educated leaders. One of his most famous students was a young man named Aristotle, who would later become one of history's greatest philosophers. The Academy survived for centuries and became a symbol of human curiosity and learning. Plato wrote his famous work, The Republic, where he imagined an ideal state. He asked, who should rule a country? His answer was surprising. Not the richest, not the strongest, but the wisest. Plato believed philosophers, people trained to seek truth and wisdom, should become leaders. He called them philosopher kings. He also explored ideas about justice, morality, education, and the nature of reality. Many of his ideas would influence future thinkers, governments, and political systems. Plato continued teaching and writing until his death around 348 BCE. He never became a king. He never commanded armies. But his ideas conquered something far more powerful: time. Thousands of years later, people still study his questions. Every debate about justice, truth, government, and knowledge carries a piece of Plato's influence. Plato showed the world that a person does not need power to change history. A single mind with powerful ideas can influence generations. The cities of ancient Greece disappeared. The kingdoms of the ancient world fell. But Plato's questions remain alive. What is truth? What is justice? How should humans live? And perhaps the greatest lesson Plato left behind is this: the beginning of wisdom is the courage to question everything.